Michael Jordan had a long and grueling road to get to the mountaintop of an NBA championship. It took him 7 years to get there, as the Chicago Bulls had to face many obstacles along the way that blocked his path to achieving the ultimate prize. There were the Milwaukee Bucks, the Boston Celtics, the Detroit Pistons, and yes, even the Orlando Magic. But once he had overcome those teams, Jordan never let anyone else take the title from him, except for the time he had just returned from baseball, prior to the team's second three-peat. Many great players deserved to win the championship as much as he did, but their championship windows, unfortunately, coincided with Michael Jordan's stranglehold on the ultimate NBA championship trophy. The Jordan dynasty lasted for 6 years, with 2 years separating the two three-peats. From 1991 to 93 and 1996 to 98, his airness and the Jordan heirs took on any and every challenger to the throne, such as the Philadelphia 76ers, LA Lakers, Cleveland Cavaliers, New York Knicks, and much, much more. Here are some of the greatest duos, players, and trios who never won an NBA championship because of Michael Jordan's dominance. Dikembe Mutombo, Mookie Blaylock, and Steve Smith. If there ever was a more balanced NBA team in the East that had the chance to take down the Bulls dynasty, it was the Hawks. Led by one of the best defenders in NBA history in Dikembe Mutombo, the Hawks had a scoring point guard in Mookie Blaylock, who was an all-defense member as well. Steve Smith was also a shooting guard who could score in bunches while playing excellent defense. Christian Laettner was one of the league's toughest and best power forwards. All four of them were all-stars at least once in their careers. During the 1997 All-Star Game, the finger-wagging Mutombo baited Michael Jordan by saying that he had never dunked on him, not even once. Challenge accepted. Later that year in the Eastern Conference semifinals, the Hawks tied the series against the Bulls at 1-1, showing them that they had the firepower to keep up with the NBA's best team. But Jordan and his Bulls team thrive on adversity, and the tide quickly changed with Chicago capturing the next 3 games. In Game 5 of the series, Michael Jordan received a pass from Luke Longley from the baseline and dunked the ball over the outstretched arms of Mutombo. Never one to miss an opportunity to get back at his opponent, Jordan wagged his finger at the 7'2" center. It was the perfect picture of Jordan's competitive will to win that brought down the Hawks. Patrick Ewing and John Starks. Very few NBA players were as worthy of an NBA title as Patrick Ewing. He was a warrior of the first order, carrying the Knicks on his back every night when the team wasn't going anywhere. The 1989 and 1991 Knicks were ill-equipped to challenge the Bulls, and both teams would flame out in 6 and 3 games respectively. One of the all-time great centers, Ewing eventually found success in playing with bruising power forward Charles Oakley, a former Chicago Bull, and fiery shooting guard John Starks. Everyone expected the 1992 Eastern Conference semifinals to be mere formalities for the 67-15 Bulls to advance to the next round. At 51-31, the Knicks didn't appear to be a threat by any stretch to the Bulls' ascension to the finals. The physicality of the 1992 Knicks team was like the second coming of the Detroit Pistons' bad boys. This time, it came with a soon-to-be Hall of Fame center in Ewing. The Bulls had no answer for the 7-foot Georgetown alum, as their centers were ill-equipped to take on the Knicks' big man. New York employed plenty of roughhousing techniques to get under Chicago's skin, much like their Detroit counterparts. The series was tied 3-3 when Jordan asked for advice from his dad. Does he take the lead, or does he get everyone else involved first in the first few minutes of Game 7? His father told him to take the lead and let everyone else follow. Michael Jordan scored 42 points and added 2 steals and 3 blocks to lead the Bulls to a rout of the Knicks, 110-81. Wise counsel indeed. The next year, Ewing brought the Knicks back to the playoffs and on a collision course with the Bulls again. This time, Starks was more prepared to take on the task of guarding Jordan. He hounded the superstar throughout the 1993 Eastern Conference Finals. He found time to talk trash to the league's MVP and dunked on him in the waning moments of Game 2, one that is being replayed over and over again on classic NBA games and highlights. The Knicks took the first 2 games on their home floor, owed to the Knicks' 60-22 record, to the Bulls' 57-25 mark in the standings. Ewing was as good as ever, averaging 25.8 points, 11.2 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 1.7 steals, and 1.8 blocks per game. Oakley provided the muscle underneath and fortified the Knicks' interior defense, but the Bulls would bounce back to win the next 4 games to take the series by the horns. Jordan was unleashed in Game 4 as he dropped 54 points against the vaunted Knicks defense. Starks was clueless on how to stop the rampaging Jordan, and he remained unshackled until the series was over. By the time the smoke had cleared, the Bulls were back in the finals once again, and Ewing, Starks, and Oakley were left to wonder what could have been. Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley was the league's best power forward during the early 90s. The undersized Sixers forward was only 6'6", but was built powerfully, but he had the speed and quickness of a guard. From 1990 to 1993, a 4-year span, Jordan and the Bulls were Barkley's roadblock to a championship. Though they were the best of friends, MJ would cut his friend's heart out during the playoffs 3 times in 4 years. They first met in the playoffs during the 1990 Eastern Conference semifinals. In that series, the 10-time scoring champion averaged video game-like numbers of 43 points, 6.6 rebounds, 7.6 5.4 assists, 4 steals, and 1.2 blocks per game. The Bulls eliminated them easily in 5 games. The following year, Michael Jordan once again used his superhuman abilities to post insane averages in the semifinals, crushing the Sixers 4-1. In the clinching Game 5 win, Jordan had 38 points, 19 rebounds, and 7 assists. But it wasn't until the 1992-1993 season that Barkley had his best opportunity to win the championship, when he was traded to the Suns. The round mound of rebound was named the MVP, to the chagrin of Jordan, who wanted to win it for the 3rd straight season. Only Larry Bird had ever done it before. Barkley was deserving of the award, as he posted some of the best numbers of his career on a winning team, leading Phoenix to the league's best record at 62-20. Barkley submitted nightly averages of 25.6 points, 12.2 rebounds, 5.1 assists, 1.6 steals, and 1 blocks per game. Michael Jordan would have his revenge in the epic 1993 finals. The 6-game series showed that Barkley was a star that belonged on the big stage. But among the stars in the finals, it was Jordan who shined the brightest. In this series, Jordan would score at least 41 points in 4 straight games, topping it off with a 55-point performance in Game 4. He bagged the finals MVP after averaging the highest points in a championship series in NBA history at 41 points per game. He even found time to add 8.5 rebounds, 6.3 assists, and 1.7 steals per game. Sadly, Barkley would never play in the finals again and continued to be ringless until he retired. Reggie Miller, Mark Jackson, and Chris Mullin. The Pacers of 1998 had the best chance of any team to dethrone the Bulls in the 1990s. Reggie Miller was in top form and had another shooter on his squad, with former All-Star Chris Mullin. Miller was tough to cover, as he would run through so many screens, all designed to set him free for his lethal jumpers. Mullin needed to win, as his illustrious career was near its end by this time. They had Mark Jackson, an excellent playmaker, and there was the toughest pair of power forward and center combos in Dale Davis and Antonio Davis. And then there was 7'4" Rick Smits, who had become one of the premier centers of the late 90s. Everything was set for an upset. Except, even at his worst, Michael Jordan would find a way to win. In Game 7, his airness was grounded by great defense from the Pacers, who gave him different looks to stifle the 5-time MVP. Jordan shot 9 of 25 from the field, but wound up with 28 points nonetheless on hustle plays. He had 5 offensive rebounds, grabbing some of them during the most crucial plays of the game. At the end, Jordan could be seen breathing heavily and tugging at his shorts. You could tell that Miller and company gave everything they had to take down the Bulls. But Jordan had more to give, as he nearly had a triple-double, with 9 rebounds and 8 assists. The Pacers would reach the finals 2 years later, but that was the last time they would get there. They lost in 6 games to the Lakers. Karl Malone and John Stockton. The famous dynamic duo of the NBA was Karl Malone and John Stockton. They were the most successful 1-2 punch the league had ever seen. When it comes to championships, the two are infamous for having played the most playoff games without winning a title. Malone at 193 games, and Stockton at 182. But it's not for a lack of effort. Malone is widely considered to be the 2nd greatest power forward of all time, next only to Tim Duncan. He owns the 2nd most career points in NBA history, with 36,928. Stockton is the best pure point guard ever in league history. He owns the most number of assists with 15,806. He also has the most number of career steals, with 3,265. Their pick and roll is nearly impossible to stop. No matter how often everyone sees it, no one seems to have found a solution to it for more than a decade. The bad news for this pair is that Michael Jordan and his Bulls team have foiled their attempts to seize the championship trophy away from them. For 2 straight years, 1997 and 1998, the Bulls had their hands full, containing the Stockton to Malone pick and roll in the finals. Just when they appeared to have taken the game opener in Game 1 of the 1997 finals, Jordan was there to take and make the game-winning shot over Byron Russell. The series was 2-0 in Chicago's favor days later. Malone and Stockton were their usual sensational selves, taking the middle games for Utah to tie the series at 2 games apiece. The next game was crucial, but even when his airness couldn't take flight because of a stomach flu in Game 5, he still managed to score 38 points. That point total includes the deciding three-pointer, with about 25 seconds to go, after he missed a free throw that would have given them the lead. At the end of that game, not only did he score 38 points, he also added 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, and 1 block. MJ was so drained after that he collapsed in the arms of teammate Scottie Pippen, who assisted him to the bench. The Bulls finished off the Jazz at home in Game 6, when Jordan passed the ball to an open Steve Kerr for the series deciding shot.
Are you a business owner looking to stand out? Let your brand shine, literally, with a custom neon sign from Glow Neo, transforming your logo into a vibrant LED masterpiece that grabs attention day or night. Whether it's a storefront, office, or event space, neon signage sets you apart from the competition. Plus, with our free design preview and fast turnaround, it's never been easier. Ready to light up your business? Visit glowneo.com and go to the Business Neons page and fill out the form. Get started today.
The Jazz had another chance in 1998, and they didn't waste time showing that they were a better team after their first finals experience. The Jazz took Game 1 on their home floor, after Utah secured home court advantage with a better regular season record. The Bulls were tested and hardened by the Pacers in the previous series that went to a Game 7. Chicago took the next 3 games to take a commanding 3-1 series lead, heading into Game 5. Michael Jordan was adamant about not going back to Utah and finishing off the Jazz on their home floor. But Malone and Stockton weren't done yet. The mailman shredded the Bulls' defense on the way to a 39-point outing, as all-defensive team member Dennis Rodman couldn't stop him. Game 6 was back in Utah, and the Bulls ran into early problems when Pippen aggravated a back injury after dunking the ball on a play. Throughout the game, he was visibly in pain, but even at 50% capacity, Pippen was still better than any player the Bulls could replace him with. Jordan had to take over. Scoring from just about anywhere, Michael Jordan scored 23 points in the first half to stay within striking distance of the Jazz before halftime. Later in the fourth quarter, Stockton made a 3-pointer to break an 83-all tie with 41.9 seconds remaining. A 3-point lead is huge in a series such as this, with less than a minute remaining. Jordan went to work once again, scoring on a drive quickly to cut the lead to 1, 86-85. On the Jazz's next possession, Jordan knew Stockton would pass to Malone on the block, so he snuck up on him as soon as the pass was delivered. The 3-time steals leader stole the ball and raced back to the other end of the court. Jordan wisely didn't call a timeout to keep the Jazz from setting up their defense. Going one-on-one with Russell, Jordan drove to the middle, then went with a crossover to take a jumper from the top of the key as his defender fell down hard to the floor. With his follow-through in perfect form, number 23 scored his 45th point of the ballgame to give them an 87-86 lead. Only 5.2 seconds remained, but that wasn't enough time for the Jazz to make a basket. The Bulls celebrated their 6th championship on Utah's home court, keeping the Jazz from a championship once again. Even after Jordan retired from the game in 1999, Stockton and Malone were unable to carry their team to another finals appearance until their careers ended. Once again, Jordan denied superstars the chance to hold the ultimate NBA championship trophy.